Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar entitled Coming Out of the Blues, Easing Postnatal Struggles Through Breastfeeding. I am Dr. Angelique Celina Lajos, your moderator for today. For a better viewing experience, let me guide you through the Zoom webinar. You can click View Options on top, move your cursor over Zoom ratio, click Fit to Window, check the side-by-side mode so you have a good view of the slides and speakers. Click the chat box for your questions, answers to questions, and your comments during the webinar. Should you wish to leave the webinar before it ends, click on the Leave button below. We are happy to announce that we will now be streaming live on the Facebook pages of the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics and the Medical City Lactation Center page. You may share this to your friends who cannot log in Zoom. The replay of this webinar will also be aired on our Facebook pages and YouTube channel. Welcome again to our Zoom and Facebook participants to our webinar entitled Coming Out of the Blues, Easing Postnatal Struggles Through Breastfeeding. Good morning, everybody. We're just experiencing a bit of difficulties right now. Let's just stand by. But how are you all, guys? So we'll just be fixing our stream for our Facebook and YouTube channel. We'll begin our webinar again in a short while. For the meantime, go get a cup of coffee so we're all be ready for the webinar. I have mine with me as well. I'm still fixing Facebook. Let me check how many we are in the Zoom already. Well, go share the Facebook page, guys, so para dumami pa tayo dito sa webinar natin. We can do a bit more. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So we're just trying to fix our Facebook Live, our YouTube videos, so everybody can watch this webinar series. This is a very informative topic. So wait lang po tayo. Welcome again to everybody who's with us today. So we're just having a bit of a technical difficulty, but we'll be resuming our webinar in a short while. Okay. I think our Facebook page is currently down, but we'll be uploading the recording of this webinar at our Facebook pages. So don't worry, you'll be able to replay this webinar series. Our webinar series is called Institute of Pediatrics Learning Academy's Coffee and Conversations. We hope to fill your morning with gems to power up your Saturday morning. So go grab a cup of coffee and just relax. Before we start our webinar, let us view this video from the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics. Just got word that we are already live on Facebook, so don't forget to share our webinar. This webinar is brought to you by the Institute of Pediatrics Learning Academy. Watch out for this logo for our future webinars. Now I have my cup of coffee and I'm ready for our conversation. To start our webinar, allow me to introduce our speaker for today. Our first speaker is a pediatric consultant at the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics, as well as an active consultant of the Department of Breastfeeding and Lactation Medicine at the Medical City Hospital. Let us all welcome Dr. Christine Fernandez-Trias. Good morning, Dr.
Hello, good morning. I hope you're having a good Saturday, and as well as to all our participants, I hope you are relaxed and I hope that you can enjoy whatever we prepared for today.
We all hope you're having a good day today also, Dr. Now, let me introduce our next speaker. She is a pediatric consultant and child and teen psychologist at the Medical City and Cardinal Santos Medical Center. She is also an adjunct faculty at the Ateneo School of Medicine and Public Health and a member of the Psychological Association of the Philippines. Let us all welcome Dr. Maria Naval Rivas. Good morning, Doc Nabs.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Doc
Morning,
Ange. Good
Doc.
morning, Doc Kin.
Good morning, Doc.
It's a cool Saturday morning.
Yes.
So I'd also like to introduce to you our moderator for this morning. This is Dr. Angelique Selena Lajos, and she is now our fellow in training in the breastfeeding medicine at the Medical City Department of Breastfeeding and Lactation Medicine. Say hi, Dr. Angelique.
Hi! Been saying good morning all buong morning
Morning.
na po. How are you all doing again? Sana marami na po tayo dito sa sa webinar natin. So, I wonder where are our viewers from actually. Can our viewers type in our chat box the city where you are currently watching from?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Participants can come from everywhere.
Wow, we have Doc Jacqueline Navarro from Quezon City. Hi, Miss Christine Kayab. She's from Pasig. A lot from Quezon City. Thank you so much for listening in on our webinar. Breastfeeding is really an interesting topic. Ayan, ang dami. Puro Pasig and QC. Thank you. Baka kaya natin from the South. They always say that it
From
should be
Kalinga.
Yeah, there is
Oh,
from
wow!
Kalinga.
Thank
Oh,
you.
hello.
HK. May Hong Kong din po. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, may breastfeeding workshop din po later. But for now, let's talk about po muna yung topic natin for today, which is breastfeeding. They always say that it should be natural, but it's actually not that easy. There's the worrying about milk supply, dealing with latch issues, figuring out how to go back to work, or juggling expectations from society, family, or your own self. So it's so easy to feel overwhelmed. But today, we're here to openly talk about these struggles, set realistic expectations, explore how we can better support mothers facing these challenges, or maybe just listen, and we will be their safe space for today. So, I understand that not all breastfeeding journeys are the same, and I'd actually love to hear from our viewers again. Can you type in our chat box what breastfeeding triumphs and challenges have you encountered so far in your breastfeeding journey?
Marami ako niyan, Doc Ange.
Pwede.
Really,
Parang
Doc?
After
hugot siya eh.
breastfeeding 3 kids, marami ako niyan.
Yeah,
What
marami
a
rin ako
feat.
niyan, Doc.
Ilan na ba tin sa'yo?
I have 3 kids, Doc.
Also.
So my breastfeeding journey ended like 2 years ago when my son was when my youngest son was
Oh,
still
you're
pandemic.
very, very young.
Not so much, no. But I'm sure
Medyo
all the
shy ang
challenges
viewers
that
natin.
did anyone experience the struggles mentioned by Doc Ange a while ago, yung mga latching
Baka,
issues?
oh, there. Oh,
Yeah, baka you can type yes if you experience latching
And
issues.
triumphs, no?
And triumphs, oo.
Yeah.
kayo po,
Ano ba?
Doc, ano po yung pinaka-struggle nyo nung breastfeeding nyo?
Oh, I was in training while I was
Same.
Oh,
breastfeeding.
Same. For my first 2 kids, yeah, I was in training
Uh-uh.
also. So it
And of
was
course, di ba, you
challenging.
like to extend as long as possible.
Yeah, Doc.
So, papasok ka, magpapump ka, mag-iiwan ka ng milk.
ito from
Yeah.
Dr. Kimberly May Garcia. Latching issues, nipple soreness. It can really be very painful. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am, for sharing your Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experience with us.
Very common din to, Doc Ange, no?
Yes.
When we see patients at the lactation center, these are the common concerns also shared by our patients. So,
Here also from Ma'am Rachel Banacosa. Breast tenderness and baby just choosing one boob to suck. My preferred breasty baby. Yes, this can be very distressing for mothers. And then let's read one more. I'm pregnant with my first baby. Don't know where to start with breastfeeding. Wow, Ma'am Trisha, you're in the perfect webinar. We will be teaching you. So thank you for sharing your experiences with breastfeeding and yung magiging soon-to-be experiences natin with breastfeeding. So all of these are true and valid. But Dr. may I ask, are these really the common concerns of mothers nowadays?
yeah, these are the same concerns that we see in the clinics. And actually, even with the lactation center and with normal conversations we have when we have it with friends and all, these are very common. And for our first time mom, you are if you don't know where to start, you actually started it already by joining our webinar, because sometimes all you need is to hear the experiences and the network that you have with other moms. That will help you a lot when you have your baby already. Tama ba, Doc Ange? So
Sorry,
let
Doc.
me yeah,
Yes,
let
Doc.
me start. So this image I saw online, kasi parang it's the weight of a mom's shoulder. You have to juggle a lot of things. And kami as pediatricians, we can consider ourselves as your co-parents, because technically we co-parent with you as you raise your children. But at the same time, we are also co-parents because we kind of share the same experiences. And Ano pa ba mga ginajuggle natin? We have, perhaps if this is not your first child, you have other kids to take care of, you have work, you have to clean the house, you have to fix the laundry. And I do remember during the pandemic, pati yung pag-sanitize, dagdag task yun for mom. So there really is a lot of things that our moms juggle, especially when they breastfeed. So like what was mentioned a while ago, these are the common breastfeeding struggles. So while it's very rewarding, it can be very challenging for many mothers. And the main struggles, I'm not saying these are the only challenges that we have, but the main struggles are actually latching issues, nipple pain or soreness, like what was mentioned a while ago, low milk supply, engorgement, breast infection or mastitis in some patients, overactive letdown, cluster feeding. Even breastfeeding in public is a challenge, diba, Doc Ange? So kasama yan. And then dietary restrictions and separation from babies. So let me just go through it one by one. So latching issues, I'll assure you, this is one of the most common problems that we encounter. And this can lead to nipple pain, ineffective feeding, and of course, sa moms natin, that the impact would be frustration as for the mom as well as for the baby. Diba, Doc Ange, especially when with our newborn babies and sa hospital,
First
pinakaunang
time moms,
sasabihin,
ma'am.
yeah, pinakaunang sasabihin, hirap siya mag-latch or they can't maintain a latch. So, just to assure you, it is very common and yun nga, it's also common to be frustrated with the situation. Nipple pain, sinabi to kanina. So, maraming moms nag-experience ng pain and discomfort while breastfeeding, especially in the early days. So, it can be caused by, again, poor latch, overactive letdown, or cracked nipple or sore nipples. Ito, Doc Ange, madalas natin tong itawag, Doc, wala po akong milk. So, actually, we don't say as low milk supply per se, but we say perceived low milk supply. So, some mothers kasi experience na they may struggle with producing enough milk. And there are a lot of factors. These include stress, poor nutrition, and hormonal imbalances. Unfortunately, we are not spared from all these factors. That's why we tend to have low milk supply and it leads to anxiety about our baby not getting enough nourishment. So engorgement also, this occurs when the breasts become overly full with milk. It can cause swelling, pain, and discomfort. And it may happen when milk production increase in the first few days or if a feeding routine is disrupted. That's why we have to make sure that we are able to establish a good latch and we are able to feed our babies well so that there's no disruption and we can avoid engorgement. So breast infection, this is infection of the breast tissue. It can be caused by a blocked milk duct and it can lead to pain, swelling, redness, and flu-like symptoms. Mastitis can make breastfeeding painful and would require medical treatment. So pagka ganyan, wag niyo siyang sarilinin. Always consult when you feel that you have these types of symptoms. Para then you alleviate the pain, alleviate the infection, and as well as to offload the stress brought about by the breast infection. So overactive letdown, sometimes, diba, we wish that we have a lot of milk, but of course, overactive letdown or overactive milk supply is also quite stressful because the milk flows too quickly and the baby can keep up. So nangyayari, we have a choking, coughing, frustrated baby who doesn't want to latch. And again, that adds up to our stress. And this is something that we can manage and we can help you with naman as long as you consult with us. So cluster feeds. Some babies want to nurse more frequently, often in the evening during growth spurts, and this is normal. It is exhausting and stressing for the mom, and they may feel overwhelmed or unsure if the baby is actually feeding enough. So minsan, 'di ba, ang tanong nila diyan parang hindi siya nabubusog.
Iyak ng
That's the
iyak.
usual term. Iyak ng iyak. So, syempre
Yes.
pag umiyak si baby, we also feel that we want to cry already as moms. But of course, these issues can be solved naman as long as we consult them with our lactation specialists. Ito, breastfeeding in public. So, many mothers feel self-conscious or anxious about breastfeeding in public. You can type yes if you have encountered this challenge, no? But kasi nga, there's a societal pressure and a fear of judgment. But um, again, breastfeeding should be we should be open to breastfeeding anywhere. But since there's this pressure nga in judgment, we are kind of stressed. Um, and this adds to the stress of the breastfeeding experience that we have. So some mothers may need to adjust their diet. So dietary restrictions can actually add up to the struggles and stress of our moms. This may be due to either the baby may sensitivities or allergies. And even if this is the issue, sometimes it's difficult to identify saan ba nagkakaroon ng allergy sa baby. So yung push and pull na yon can be very stressful then for the mom. So, syempre, we don't want our babies to have digestive issues or discomfort. So, sometimes it becomes quite challenging for moms to really identify what to eat for the benefit of their baby. Yeah. So, diba yan? Separation from baby, moms really do struggle and find this as a challenge, especially pag patapos na yung maternity leave and they have to go back to work. They would have to think of paano ba mag-pump, how to store, and then the fact that you've been with your baby for a long time, parang may sepangs talaga, separation anxiety when you return back to work. So, yun yung mga challenges that we have, and you can feel free to type if there seems to be other challenges or struggle that you encounter during pregnancy. So again, we would like to assure you that all these struggles make it very challenging physically, emotionally, and mentally. And this is common for all of us moms. So for now, let's just have a quick fact or myth or parang mga interactive questions for our dear
Yes.
participants.
So we will be having questions. Just type in our chat box your answers. So may prepare si Doc Tin for us.
So remember, this is a safe space, so feel free to answer if you feel that it's a fact or a myth. No judgment here. All right. So first question, true or false? Breastfeeding should always feel natural and easy from the start.
False. Ma'am Christine Kayab says false. Meron pa po ba? Meron pa po ba? May hahabol
Ayan.
pa po ng sagot?
So tama si Mommy Christine, it's false because many moms experience challenges like latching issues, pain, or low milk supply, which can impact their emotional well-being. So it's not really a walk in the park, but like what we always say, it's not a walk in the park, but we can always hold your hand when you walk through the challenges of breastfeeding. So next question tayo. Which of these can contribute to stress and anxiety in breastfeeding mothers? So we have choices. Yan.
Parang exam, Doc.
Parang exam. Pero pwede rin from personal experience, no?
Ayan, we have answers na, Doc. Mom Trisha, Mom Kimberly, and Mom Rachel all answer. Letter D, all of the above.
Yeah. Mukhang hugot ba yan, mga mommies? But yeah, correct. It's all of the above. So we all experience all these factors, sleep deprivation, pressure to exclusively breastfeed, and difficulties in latching. So, yeah. So scenario question, ay, lumabas na yung star.
Ay, may
So
sagot na.
Anna feels guilty for supplementing with formula because she worries she's failing as a mom. She cries often and feels like she's not bonding with her baby. What should we do? What should she do? Syempre, the answer is there. Talk to a trusted friend or healthcare worker. So very important yan. That's why these conversations, these talks that we have here are very important actually, so that we are able to discuss and talk among ourselves the experiences that we already may or may have experience, may or may not have experience, and we can learn from each other. All right. Oops, true or false? Postnatal depression is just an extended version of baby blues. May sagot na rin. So, false yan. So, the baby blues last a few weeks while postnatal depression is more persistent and severe. So, yung mga struggles, yung mga, di ba, sometimes we do cry after we give birth. Ano siya, it's very common and it should last for a few weeks until you kind of get in sync already with the new routine and the new baby. So we mentioned about postpartum depression and postnatal blues. So actually, these are two very different terms. They can differ in their intensity, duration, and impact on daily life. So, but let's take time to talk about postpartum blues at this time, no? So, postpartum blues, ito yung will last for the first few days to 2 weeks. Ito yung pagod ka talaga, tapos naiiyak ka, but there could be sadness, irritability, anxiety, mood swings, tearfulness, fatigue, and difficulty sleeping. And these symptoms are generally mild and temporary. The cause is not entirely known, but hormonal changes after childbirth, fatigue, and adjustments to new motherhood may contribute. So the impact is it should not interfere significantly with your ability to take care of your baby or to function in daily life. And it tends to resolve on its own. So there's no treatment, but support from family, friends, and rest can help. It's important to monitor the symptoms to ensure they don't develop into something more severe. So I have another question here. Ito, opinion lang. Based on what I discussed a while ago, which of these is actually a red flag, or what do you think would lead to postnatal depression? Feeling persistently sad or numb, difficulty sleeping even when the baby is sleeping, loss of interest in things once enjoyed, feeling irritated or detached from the baby, all of the above. So we discussed kanina yung postpartum blues. Alin doon yung
Red
mukhang
flag.
hindi na postpartum blues.
Any guesses from our viewers? Yun. Ma'am Trisha says letter E, all of the above. Ma'am Kim says letter D, feeling irritated or detached from your baby.
All right. So the answer is all of the above. So if a mom feels this way, what steps can she take? Let's discuss exactly what postpartum depression is and the strategies we can use. I'd like to call in Dr. Naz Rivas for her part of the discussion this morning.
Yes, thank you, Doc Tin, for that. Now I'm going to discuss postnatal depression. So kanina, no, diniscuss ni Doc Tin yung tungkol sa postpartum blues, no? Ngayon naman, ang postnatal depression na pag-uusapan natin ay parang postpartum blues din na tumatagal ng mas mahaba sa 2 weeks, 'di ba? Nabanggit kanina ni Doc Tin. And yung simptomas niya ay mas intense at mas malalim kaysa sa postpartum blues. Kanina, sabi niya, nagre-resolve yon mag-isa with enough support. And itong postnatal depression, dahil sa mga symptoms, hindi nakakayanan ng mga mothers na alagaan ng maigi yung babies nila, and hindi rin sila makagawa ng usual tasks like their regular jobs. But please remember that postnatal depression is not a character flaw or weakness. It is brought about by events during childbirth. So bakit alright. So bakit importanteng pag-usapan ang postnatal depression? Maging maiging nabibigyan ng impormasyon ng mga mothers na kakapanganak lang para prepared sila with the knowledge about it, because it may come handy in case mapagdaanan nila ito or meron silang makitang kaibigan or kapamilya na parang nagsasuffer nito, no? Hindi kasi biro ang postnatal depression. Worldwide, 1 out of 10 pregnant and postnatal women experience depression according to WHO. Sa Pilipinas naman, 15.6 of pregnant women and 19.8 of postnatal women report to have experienced symptoms of depression. Now, in severe cases, there is a high risk of committing suicide, or pwede ring nagkakaroon ng parang psychosis-like illness, no? So ito yung mga nababalitaan natin na parang yung mga moms nasasaktan nila yung mga sanggol nila. And what's bothering is that 50% of cases are unrecognized. So that puts a lot of lives in danger. And so that's why information dissemination is a strategy to improve case identification para matulungan natin yung mga mothers na nakakaranas nito.
Oo nga, Doc Nabs. I feel like it is the benefit of our participants to be informed para they are empowered with knowledge of what they can do about it. Ano-ano po ba yung symptoms na kailangan nilang i-watch out for or bantayan, Doc?
Oo, yung symptoms include depressed mood, yung sobrang lungkot na nakakapanibago. Parang hindi mo siya naramdaman ever dati, no? And dahil sa lungkot, hindi ka na makagawa ng mga activities na, usually nagagawa mo. Even caring for your baby becomes very distressing and punishing. And also, nagkakaroon ng difficulty in concentration. So parang ang gulo-gulo ng isip mo. Parang hindi mo alam kung anong unahin, anong isusunod. And, of course, this causes a lot of stress in mothers dahil marami siyang kailangang i-accomplish with a new baby. And sometimes, meron ding nagmamanifest dahil sa gulo ng isip, no? Nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na psychomotor agitation, yung ang dali-dali mong mag-snap, ang dali-dali mong ma-irritate. And so, you become really, really very emotional. Nagkakaroon din ng disturbance in sleep, pwedeng hirap makatulog, or sobrang tulog ng tulog naman. Nagiging problematic din yung eating. Nahihirapan yung moms kumain, and syempre, kailangan nilang kumain dahil especially if nagbe-breastfeed sila, kailangan nila yung nutrition. So this becomes, a considerable problem. Meron ding ibang nagbi-binge eat, which can also go to the extent of unhealthy. And the more worrisome symptom is the feeling of hopelessness. So parang walang future na ma-imagine yung mother, no? Parang nawawala yung value in life. And in others, all these feelings cause so much confusion and pain that they end up hurting themselves just to feel something or just to feel anything different. Yung feeling of hopelessness can lead to suicidal behavior, including thoughts, plans, or attempts. Now, some of these symptoms may be felt by mothers who are suffering from postpartum blues, as Dr. Tin discussed earlier, which may be considered a normal transition to motherhood. But what makes postnatal depression different is that symptoms are more severe and they happen nearly every day, and it lasts for more than 2 weeks in that severity. Now, there is also a criteria that more than 5 symptoms should be present in the mother, not just not just a self-observation, but also the symptoms are obvious to others. So napapansin din ng taong nakapaligid sa mother, no? And kagaya ng mga na-mention na symptoms, ang pinaka-importante dyan na must-have symptoms are depressed mood and the loss of pleasure in usual activities. So kung isa or dalawa or hanggang 4 lang ang symptoms, hindi pa naman yan considered as postnatal depression, pero tumataas of course yung risk of the possibility of depression. And ang isa pa sa pinaka-importanting condition to make this diagnosis is that the symptoms interfere with the usual function of the mother and the usual relationship. So with the spouse, the partner, or her own baby. Now, paano nangyayari ang postnatal depression? There's no single cause of postnatal depression. But genetics, hormonal changes, and emotional issues may play a role. Genetics as a cause. Studies show that if there is a family history of postnatal depression, then mas mataas yung likelihood na magkakaroon ng postnatal depression yung mga offsprings or succeeding generations nung mother na yon, no? And also, after childbirth, yung mga hormonal changes naman na parang nalilink with postnatal depression is a decrease in estrogen, progesterone, and thyroid hormones that contribute to the feelings of tiredness and sadness. Yung emotional issues naman is about getting mixed feelings and worry about one's new role. Let's say, lalo na no, sa mga first-time mothers, yung very unknown sa kanilang experience of having to take care of a newborn. Now, there's also feeling of loss of control over situations because everything is uncertain. Parang nakikilala pa lang nila yung baby nila, kinakapapa nila kung ano yung mga dapat gawin, yung waking hours, yung sleeping hours. So those feel very uncertain especially for new mothers, and this feeling can contribute to to that distress that may lead to postnatal depression. Marami ding mothers ang nagsasuffer ng self-image issues, no? Parang they don't like the way they look and the limitations that they get post-birth.
Doc Nabs, if you said that most people might really be just suffering the normal transition to motherhood causing postpartum blues, bakit meron mga mothers na prone to developing real depression?
Oo, so yun nga, Ange, parang bakit merong group of mothers that leads to suffering postnatal depression? Studies show that there are certain factors that predispose an individual to depression. And they found that women who are younger than age 25 at first childbirth is a risk factor. Risk factor din yung malayo sa pamilya. Those who give birth in far places, yung malayo sila sa kanilang immediate family. Example, yung mga nanganganak overseas, ganyan. And that's maybe because they miss the support and the presence, no, of their family. So naghahalo yung reason for lungkot. Now, lower socioeconomic status is another factor associated with postnatal depression because despite the childbirth being supposedly a source of joy, of course, it puts on a new set of expenses for a family. And marami pang inaaral na, risk factors. Kaya lang, ang mga studies on postnatal depression, hindi pa siya ganun ka-strong. Although there are also clinical factors that are considered to increase the risk. So parity. Mas common ang postnatal depression sa mga first moms or first childbirth, or those who has had more than 5 children already. Now, premarital pregnancy is another risk factor, especially in the Asian countries like the Philippines, where it is considered shameful or taboo to have a baby without the marriage. Now, having a negative attitude towards pregnancy also doubles the risk of postnatal depression. Dahil sa dami ng uncertainties, tapos parang hindi mo pa gusto yung nangyayari sa'yo, then magti-take toll talaga yon sa mental health. A history of premenstrual syndrome and mental illness previous or during pregnancy also support the theory that postnatal depression may be caused by individual sensitivity to hormonal changes. A history of complicated pregnancy heightens the worry for the subsequent pregnancy, causing distress. So yung mga nagkaroon ng complicated first births. So syempre medyo anxious sila doon sa coming of the next, no? So this can cause distress to the mother. Now, psychosocial factors that were found to be associated with postnatal depression are the following. Social support has been shown to be very important in the transition to motherhood and has an impact on emotional coping. So the lack of it is a very potent risk factor. In Asian societies, one of the more common stressful events, as quoted by literature, is the tradition that the young couple usually end up living with the husband's family, so they're exposed to the mother-in-law, and being in that environment becomes very difficult for new mothers. So I'm sure familiar tayo dun sa storya na ganyan, ano? So the adjustment becomes doubly difficult, especially if the mother-in-law is quite authoritarian. Now, husband-related factors include psychiatric illnesses, substance abuse, unemployment, and marital conflicts. All these contributing to the risk that a mother may just be unable to handle all those sources of stress. Child-related factors naman include health problems of the child, birth defects, child's temper and feeding difficulties, or even, say, an older sibling having those problems. Now, poor self-body image and personality disorders have shown to increase the risk of postnatal depression.
Doc Nabs, I'm sure merong effects ang postnatal depression sa bata. Ano-ano po yun?
So when a mother is going through postnatal depression, she is unable to care for the child as expected. Studies show that there is a likelihood that breastfeeding is stopped even earlier than usual. And research also shows that children of depressed mother achieve suboptimal physical development kasi nga yung maternal care medyo poor, no? Hindi sila nadadala sa doktor, they're not given adequate nutrition, nade-delay yung developmental milestone ng mga bata. Kagaya ng speech, kasi the mother is always like parang like to herself, no? So, hindi siya nakiki-interact dun sa baby, lalo na kung silang dalawa lang yung nasa bahay. So, nakakaroon ng speech delay yung baby. And studies have really, proven that yung production of vocal sounds of baby delayed. Now, madalas po na ang mother with postnatal depression ay hindi komportabling lapitan yung kanilang mga baby, no? So yung physical distance na yon also leads to bonding difficulties. Now, the difficulty in that mother-infant bonding could originate from, as I've said, early physical separation or, excuse me, the lack of emotional availability of the mother. And anong nagiging effect niyan? Usually, yung babies nagkakaroon ng insecure attachments. And yung attachment theory would say na babies with that kind of insecure attachment will have behaviors that are difficult. They manifest with tempers that are extreme. So, madali silang umiyak, madali silang magtantrum, madali silang ma-frustrate. And hirap din po sila to express themselves accurately. They either become overly shy or too loud and aggressive. Kaya they get into frequent conflicts with people around them. And nagiging difficult din sila, let's say the babies, nagiging difficult din sila dun sa mga caregivers. And you know naman how it is important that adults, the emotional reaction of adults to that is quite natural na pag mahirap alagaan yung baby, pati yung adult, nagiging negative siya about the caregiving. And so it puts the child in that, complicated web of negativism. Now, they also have poor emotion regulation. So as I've said earlier, they feel extremes of emotions, malalim kung magtampo, intense kung magalit or matakot. And because of all these traits, nagiging problematic yung mga relationships sila, which eventually can even lead to mental health issues. Now, maraming studies din ang nag-claim na the difficulties in mother-to-infant bonding could reduce the quality of parenting practices and could increase abusive behavior of mothers. So when mothers are physically and verbally abusive, the child is placed really at risk for mental health disorders like mood and personality disorders. So child having depression and anxiety also, and yung mga personality disorders like borderline personality, narcissism, yan mga yon, and mood, and as teens, they are more likely to engage in very risky behaviors, possibly leading to substance abuse. There's also a high risk of self-harm when mothers are abusive.
Pwede palang malalim talaga yung effect ng postnatal depression sa bata, Doc. Do mothers recover from this?
Yeah, of course, no, most mothers recover completely within 1 year if treated, di ba? So, very important talaga, Doc Ange, na napapag-usapan to, nalalaman kung anong gagawin. Kasi pag natulungan sila, nakaka-recover naman sila. However, those who recover may have the risk of recurrence, 50% risk of recurrence for the next pregnancy. But even then, if help is there, then that is very significant in the recovery of the mothers. Now, some, and there are no numbers quoted, leads to chronic depression if untreated. So really, they have to receive treatment. Now, how do we approach, helping someone with postnatal depression? It is crucial first to detect. And that's why pinag-usapan natin kanina yung symptoms, yung risk factors. Because once we're able to detect, then we can refer to a physician, even just their primary physicians, no, yung mga OB-gynecologists sila, or the pediatricians who they go to for the child's check. And then there is a postnatal depression scale that we call the Edinburgh scale, and that's a 10-item scale, self-rated yon, and kapag nakascore sila doon ng 12.5, then it indicates further assessment by a mental health specialist. Now, ano ba yung mga available treatment of postnatal depression? Which maybe, so we can run through it, no? It's based on the treatment of non-pregnancy related depression. So psychotherapy and antidepressant medications may be used alone or in combination. Yung hormonal therapy, wala pa kasi siyang strong evidence. So not a lot use that. But studies are on the way because there is really a strong association between the postnatal depression and hormonal changes. And research consistently shows, and no fail, that when mothers receive adequate postnatal support, they are less likely to experience depression. So let's start with psychotherapy. Because yung safety ng medications during lactation is questionable, most women would understandably choose psychotherapy muna. No? This is also known as talk therapy, where the therapist helps the mother in achieving healthier understandings of what she is going through. It's also to help the mother kind of like make mental perceptions of her experiences healthier, so that she is also empowered in acquiring cognitive skills para mas maging tama yung perception niya doon sa mga nangyayari sa kanya, or not tama, but magiging healthier. Kasi sabi ko nga, parang nag-iiba yung perception nila doon sa mga experiences nila because of the stress that they go through, no? So a therapist can help them with that. marital counseling is also beneficial, lalo na pag merong marital conflict na present, which is also contributing to the depression. And at the least, it's good to involve the spouse, the partner, and the family in the counseling, no? Para maintindihan nila kung ano rin yung pinagdadaanan nung kanilang family member. Now, a woman whose depression is severe and persistent may really benefit from the medications, no? Because usually yung presentation niya is talagang severely, hindi na nila maalagaan yung sarili nila or yung babies nila. And the commonly used medications na I'm sure hindi naman ito sa mga kailangan to ng prescription ng kanilang mga doktor, no? Yung mga tricyclic antidepressants, yung selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And their psychiatrists would know how to explain to them kung paanong makakatulong yan. And studies naman show po, extensive research show that the detectable levels of these medication in the babies don't cause harm. Now, when there is lack of response to the medications, meaning symptoms persist despite increasing dosage, then a re-evaluation by the psychiatrist should be done. Now, among these interventions, the most crucial element is the ability to offer our mothers with a supportive environment, and having dependable circle of family, friends, ganyan, will be very helpful. So Doc Ange, no, do you agree na this is, I think the most important factor na kailangan nating ma-inform ang ating audience?
Yes, Doc. Very important talaga yung support, the group of people that will support the mother, especially when they deliver po.
Oo. And so it is important na syempre meron tayong idea ano yung mga simptomas, and na-identify natin, okay, may risk factor. Maybe for ourselves, let's say you're the mother, or for a family member na observe yon, magsimula na mag-identify ng network of helpers. So every new parent should feel empowered to ask for help, say with baby care, errands, or emotional support. Kasi po kung sasarilinin talaga, minsan very overwhelming. It is also wise to invest on professional support, because they will help in navigating the postpartum phase with you. So examples of professionals will be our postpartum doulas, our lactation consultants, which Doc Ange will talk about later, and as I've mentioned, the mental health specialists or the therapists. And no matter how small one's house is, it is beneficial to assign a place where the mother, parang exclusive to the mother and the baby, kahit ganong kaliit yung spot na yon. When the mother knows that there is such a place, it might just, empower her to consider that place as a comfort zone where she can go when she's feeling overwhelmed. And in that zone, mas magandang accessible yung mga kailangan niya, no? Yung mga diapers, yung mga wipes, yung mga wash gadgets, para then that will conserve her energy. And of course, as a system modification, kailangan mag-agree ng mga tao sa bahay that a peaceful surrounding is beneficial for the mother. So, mag-usap na to reduce noise, to keep clutters, and to create a calming atmosphere. Also, sometimes we have to manage visitors, no? Encourage them to come only briefly, and don't hesitate to request or to share with them your boundaries. So, kung hindi nyo pa kayang mag-accept ng visitors, then just tell them in a gentle way. Now, sharing the load is one of the most effective ways to reduce stress from recovering moms. So spouses or partners are the best bets who can actively participate in, say, helping change the diapers or burp the baby. Di ba lagi ko sinasabi, oh, mas magaganda yung chest ng dads pag yung nagbo-burp sila ng baby kasi mas flat. Or even rocking the baby to sleep. Kasi yung mga konting help na yon, nakakapahinga yung moms, no? And it can re-energize them. And postpartum mothers usually grapple with self-doubt. So regularly remind them of their strengths and their abilities, acknowledging their efforts. So we lessen criticisms. Now, because if we criticize, then we dampen their confidence and they can feel even more inadequate. So the family should take note of this. Partners and family should also learn about postnatal health. No, we educate them so that they are better equipped to provide support. Understanding what's normal and what may require medical attention as part of education will definitely make a significant difference. Remember, pag natutulungan yung mga moms, they recover from depression. Mothers can also be coached to take advantage of their baby naps for their own rest. So parang makikitulog sila pag tulog yung babies. Importante sa moms yon. And remind them na nutrition is very important, especially for breastfeeding moms. Kailangan adequate yung nutrition nila, hindi pa muna pwedeng mag-diet kasi of course even the nutritional support to the body is important so the body can function through this challenging period of taking care of the baby. Now, it is also very important that mothers are able to openly communicate how they feel. I'm sure alam ng mga audience natin, participants, na may tendency tayo parang solohin yung mga nafe-feel natin kasi parang nakakahiya. But if people around you will give you the sense na you're okay to share, that they will provide you with a non-judgmental space, as a space that is safe for sharing how you feel, then I'm sure ma-encourage kayo to do that. And for my last slide, we like to involve the community in postpartum recovery. And I'd like to emphasize that even the detail of, say, applying for a paid family leave, especially for the spouses or the partners, or maybe a family member who can stay with the mother, that's very helpful po. Kasi at least nawawala yung stress of also the support person na he's staying home to be able to take care of you. And that will impact your recovery significantly. It's also advised that you join parent groups para po may nakaka-share kayo ng mga sentiments ninyo, yung mga yung triumphs and strengths, kaya ganun po kami nag-umpisa nila, Doc Ange. And there are also online forums which you can participate in, and it can give you a sense of belongingness for new mothers, and being able to share similar experience even is therapeutic. So there.
Thank you, Doc Nav. That was
Thank
really
you,
an
Doc Ange.
informative lecture. Ang dami na nating natututunan. Let's review nga. Ang dami na po nating natututunan. Let's touch base from Dr. Nav's lecture. So here's a scenario. Mia feels exhausted, cries often, and is overwhelmed, but she's afraid to tell anyone because she doesn't want to seem weak. What should she do? So you can type in again your answers in the chat box.
Ano kaya ang pwedeng gawin? Keep it to herself. Talk to a friend, partner, or doctor, or distract herself with housework, or wait for it to go away. So your guess is as good as
Yan. Letter B.
talk to a friend partner or doctor. So just like what Doc Nabs mentioned a while ago, no? It's very important to have a group, a team that will be with you during your breastfeeding journey. So, may question din ako. The TMC Lactation Center only provides help with latching and milk supply. True or false? Siyempre,
Ang
false.
sasagot. False.
Because, Ange, what do we have in the lactation center? We offer
We offer
counseling, counseling,
emotional
emotional
support,
support.
referrals for maternal and mental health, and we also conduct prenatal talks to better prepare you when you give birth.
So these are the services that we have at the lactation center. And briefly, I'd like to play a short video for everyone.
As parents, we only want what is best for our child. The best toys, the best education, the best nutrition. At birth, one of the very best things we can do for our children is to give them breast milk. Research has proven the many benefits of breast milk for newborns, which is why doctors the world over recommend exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months and continued breastfeeding for 2 years, and even beyond. But how do we manage feeding when the mother and infant are separated due to certain medications or diseases? And what if breast milk is necessary for survival of the child? For parents of preterm and sick babies, there is hope. There is the Medical City Milk Bank. The Milk Bank aims to provide safe, pasteurized donor milk for fragile babies in the neonatal ICU of the hospital. Medical experts agree that if a mother is unable to provide breast milk for her sick child, pasteurized human milk, obtained from a certified milk bank, is the next best thing and can be life-saving. For some babies, getting pasteurized, donated milk from a milk bank is a matter of life and death, because some medical conditions do not allow for informal milk donations. Unpasteurized donor milk may contain bacteria, viruses, drugs, toxins, and poisonous chemicals. Contamination may also result from unhygienic collection, storage, and transport methods. Because it is hospital-based, the Medical City Milk Bank has the capacity to ensure that the milk they have on hand is safe for babies who need it.
My coworker gave birth to a premature baby. So breast milk was needed since she has no breast milk, or the baby was only given birth at 6 months. So I supplied her baby for at least 2 weeks of breast milk.
The Medical City Milk Bank screens and tests each donor and ensures the proper expression, collection, storage, and transport of milk. Pasteurization is then done to ensure that the donor milk contains no viruses or bacteria that may harm the baby who will receive it.
My experience at breast milk donation here at the Medical City is an experience I would never have imagined I could ever do, because it's something that's special to you to be able to donate it to others. Sometimes it's hard, but the Medical City Lactation Center, together with its nurses, encouraged me to do this. So I was able to be proud to share my breast milk with other babies.
If you have the capacity and the heart to give your milk, visit the Medical City Milk Bank. The milk you give can save the life of a child.
So we know what we can offer our mothers. We have a milk bank that can also kind of alleviate the pressure to produce a lot of milk at the onset. So there. So ako, diretsuhin ko na. Where can a mother experience postnatal depression and find support? We can find support at the TMC Lactation Center, postpartum support groups, talking to your OB or pediatrician. And remember, at the Medical City Lactation Center, you have your breast friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc Tin and Doc Navs, for your discussions. Ang dami naming natutunan. I hope our audience did as well. At this point, we would like to open the floor for any questions for our speakers. Feel free to type them on our chat box and I'll read through them. But I'll start. We have a question from Facebook. This is from Rose Ann, DGD. Hi, Doc. I'm 6 months postpartum. I keep having thoughts of what ifs. What if I die? What will happen to my baby? What if something bad happens? Like most time of every day. Can this be a sign of postnatal depression?
Yes, kailangan ma-address yung ganong thoughts ng moms, no? Especially if she claims nearly every day. She might not yet be at the point of depression. Kasi remember, kailangan mga 5 symptoms yon, no? Na sabay-sabay nangyayari. But I think it's good to consult para ma-check yung ibang presence ng ibang symptoms sa kanya and para ma-determine talaga kung meron siyang depression. So, consult a mental health expert or even maybe first her OB-GYN just for the screening.
Mas magandang makita talaga siya, Doc. Do we have other questions from our Zoom or Facebook?
May question yung patient ko before Doc Nabs, no? What if talagang marami talaga siyang pinagdadaanan, maraming ginajuggle, and sometimes she just wants to withdraw. Yung bang gusto niya umalis ng bahay. Hindi niya daw sure kung postpartum depression yon or postpartum blues. I told her I'm not sure if I advise her correctly. Sabi ko, really naman, diba? Like what you said kanina, Doc, you have to have a little space for yourself. And I guess wanting to go out of the house quickly just to recharge and have time for yourself would be very helpful. So that's what I advised her. But should you encounter that, Doc, tama ba yung sinabi ko dun sa mommy? But yun yung ano
Yes,
eh.
yes. So, di ba parang, of course, dun sa first day, maybe first 2 weeks when you're establishing breastfeeding schedule, medyo mahirap pa talagang umalis, 'di ba? Parang so kung aalis ka, usually sinasama mo pa si baby. Pero pag na-establish mo na ang mga every hour to, no? 'Di ba yung space na yon, you can say a walk
Yeah.
outside your house just to free yourself bago ulit naman magugutom si baby. And if there's a
Oo.
reliable caregiver naman, kahit magsimula ng umiyak si baby, na ano naman yun masusooth naman yun. Hindi naman,
Oo.
makaka-wait naman si baby ng konti in terms of the feeding. So yes, you advised your friend correctly.
So yun kasi minsan may mom guilt ba that we have to always be on pero to be honest, you really have to, like what Dr. Nabs mentioned kanina, you have to take care of yourself pa rin palagi. No? You have to consider yourself. You can't, ano yung sabi nila, you can't fill from an empty glass. Yun ba yung sinabi na parang you have to, fill yourself in first. Are there any questions?
So, Doc Tin, ako interested. Baka sakaling makapag-donate pa ako. Let's say may ganon na moms na interested, no? May mga parang requirements ba yun? Do they call first? Ask how they should prepare the milk bago sila pumunta?
Yeah, there's a screening, parang a screening checklist that they do first. And then if they are parang deemed fit to donate, they will have, either they bring the milk, or they can express their milk naman at the center. So, alam mo, it's helpful that we mentioned about the milk bank because at least our parents, our moms, know that they have options para it kind of lightens the load then to yung babawasan ba yung kailangan nilang isipin. But yun nga, at least it's parang it's a community of moms also helping other moms. It's a good thing that we have that service at the medical city.
We have another question, Doc, from Facebook. Doc Nabs, how do you accomplish the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale and how do you get it or where do we get it?
Ano yun? It's a self-rated, meaning kayo yung sasagot. Oo. And well, that can be available sa inyong mga physicians at saka sa mga mental health experts. So you go and sila po yung magbibigay noon, especially if you are kind of like checking, okay ba to, parang postpartum blues lang ba to. But of course your physician would know if you even, I mean, if they want to screen you for it, no, bago nila yun gagawin.
Ako, Doc, my question would be, since I'm only starting pa lang, do you really encounter patients who would openly tell you na, Doc, parang this is not going well, breastfeeding is not going well? How do they try to express yung if they feel depression? Kasi parang in our society, it's not openly talked about yet.
Oo. And to be honest, no, yung na-encounter ko is parang in retrospect. And that's what's dangerous about that. Parang, I really understand now. I must have gotten through I must have gotten through postnatal depression with my first child. Tapos intindihan na lang niya nung second birth na kasi parang wala yung pakiramdam na yun. And that's because we are uninformed. Diba? Paano? Buti naka-recover yung mom. Siguro with the benefit of a supportive environment. What if hindi ganon yung context niya, no? So talagang and to tell you yun ganon pa lang yung experience ko. I mean, wala pa akong like actively na identify na parang a mom who is actually going through postnatal. May naririnig ako, para pong nagganyan ako. Ganon. Oo.
Parang tapos na. No?
Oo. So ngayon, pinapalaganap talaga natin yung information. Para mas aware. Even physicians. Di ba? Primary care physicians. Para mas aware sila about it.
So we have another question, Doc, from Facebook. Do you know any after-birth facilities where mothers can stay to help them in the first 1 to 2 weeks after giving birth? This is from Ma'am Eliza Oy Española.
I think that's for Tin.
Facilities, parang wala, Doc, tayo. No? Yung parang hina-house sila. Is that what you meant po? If it's a parang facility where you house moms. I've come across that online, but I don't think we have that in the Philippines. That's something we can look into. But what we have now are actually doctors who are more aware of how to assist patients. Alam ko rin meron mga doulas. There are doula services. I've seen that also. Parang after giving birth, pumupunta na sila sa sa hospital, parang sinasalubong na nila yung mom. So yun, that's what we have also in our country.
And
so far, that's what I know.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of also giving birth in Medical City because we have
Yes.
we have lactation specialists.
Yes,
diba?
parang
Yes.
it's
So
not yeah.
So
Meron
from birth,
tayong
Doc, we visit
in-house.
them daily. Yes, we visit
Yes.
them daily, Doc. We assist them. We do prenatal counseling. And then when they get discharged, they can also visit the lactation center for any difficulties or challenges that they encounter, especially when they go home. Kasi sila na lang yun, Doc. Wala na
Ayan,
kami.
look for Doc Ange. Doc
Doc
Ange
Ange.
Lahol.
We have a question, Doc, from Zoom. So this is from Kimberly May Garcia. So if the baby's latch is not so good, for example, clicking while feeding, but we notice that she gets milk and pees and poops well, what can we do to fix this?
Ange, what do you advise your patients? Common yan eh. Common yan, mommy. Actually, yung question yan, very common yan. So, we do encounter that. Diba, Ange?
Yes, Doc. So, of course, we have to see, Doc, kung maganda ba talaga yung latch ni baby. Usually, it would feel different. Minsan may pain or hindi suckling na pressure yung feeling. But it's a good sign na the baby is peeing and pooping well. That's actually sometimes yun lang yung sign natin na they're able to get adequately what the baby needs. But of course, we always want to fix yung attachment and positioning ni baby para all good yung latching and hindi mag-give up si mother natin.
Oo,
Yun ba, Doc?
sa latch yun, correct. No? So we check we check the proper positioning of the baby and the proper contact of the baby's mouth to the mother's nipple, no? And let's say bigger babies yan na nagpa-pump na nag-bottle feed. We also have to check the equipment. The equipment. Baka meron doon pong problema.
Okay, Doc. I think we're down to our last question. For Filipino mothers, since they do not openly talk about signs of depression, what do we watch out for? What clues can we use? And do we actively screen for it as pedia or OB?
Usually, you will notice na talagang iba. 'Di ba? Parang, kasi kung kasamahan mo sa house, or partner mo, or asawa mo, 'di ba? You know the regular state of that person. And mapapansin mo, malaking pagkakaiba. Even in the tone of voice, very melancholic, yung withdrawal, yung ayaw makipag-interact. Kasi laging may tendency gano'n yung mga depressed individuals, they tend to withdraw, they communicate very little, they are very, very parang very ineffective in terms of the tasks. Yung parang ang daming hindi natatapos. So, mapapansin niyo po yan. And I think the best person to go to first would be the physician who you have most connection with. Yung feeling mo very comfortable kayo. If that's your obstetrician, then go to your obstetrician. If that's your pediatrician, then you go to the pediatrician. And I'm sure both are skilled to help identify.
Yeah, and yun nga, like we mentioned a while ago, the TMC Lactation Center has a lot of services for our moms. So even before giving birth, we have prenatal breastfeeding classes, we have lactation consultations after, we have routine breastfeeding assessment para ma-check tama ba. We have breast physical exam. We can refer you if there's really a problematic or a need to be referred to. And then we have a community of mother education, and we have a trained medical staff. And of course, like we said a while ago, we have the human milk bank. So lahat yan from parang end-to-end process. So lahat yan, we have support for all our mothers. So we hope that you can visit us. You can just actually drop by lang, no, Doc Ange? We welcome all mothers. Drop by, look around,
Yes,
talk to
Doc.
us. We have coffee also in the
Yes.
lactation center. So we can just hang out there. It's a good place for all the mothers and with us po.
So thank you so much. This is all the time we have for questions. Doc Tin and Doc Naps, any parting words for our viewers?
Well, I'd like to emphasize to everybody that postnatal depression is not a sign of character weakness. Okay, there are reasons why it happens. So please don't feel ashamed of it. Open it up to the most comfortable person next to you so that you can find help easily, because it resolves in most women.
Sa akin naman, Ange, just open up, communicate. Again, I don't want to sound like paulit-ulit lang, pero I hope that you find comfort knowing that your medical experts at the lactation center can also be your breast friends na. You can take things lightly, hindi naman kailangan sobrang mabigat. So just visit us and we will help you go through the breastfeeding journey.
Well said, Doc Tin and Doc Naps. Truly, this discussion has been a great start to our morning. To all of you watching this morning, and to Doc Tin and Doc Naps, until our next coffee and conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, docs. Thank you again to our resource speakers. I enjoyed our coffee and conversation this morning. For all our participants, thank you for joining us. For your certificate, you may scan the QR code or click the link on the chat box. I will return to this slide in a while. For inquiries about our lactation specialists at the Medical City, contact the Lactation Center with these contact numbers. For inquiries about other pediatricians and other specialists at the Medical City, please contact the Institute of Pediatrics with this number. I would like to invite you to our upcoming webinar and workshop. We have a breastfeeding workshop later today as part of the Her Month, Her Checkup Women's Month celebration. It will be later at 1 p.m. at the 4th floor conference 1 and 2 at the Medical City Hospital. Please scan the QR code to register. On April 12, 2025, we are inviting you to our parent class on language stimulation. Our expert speech and language pathologist, teacher Kat Puruganan and teacher Kyla Espiritu, will guide you on how to promote your child's language development. To register, you may scan the QR code. Again, thank you for spending your morning with us today for the Institute of Pediatrics Learning Academy's Coffee and Conversations. I leave you with the link to the certificate. It will be open only until 5 p.m. today. See you in our next webinar. This has been Dr. Angelique Celina Lajos for Coffee and Conversation of the Medical City Institute of Pediatrics, your partner in pediatric healthcare. Good morning, everyone. Thank you.